Hello team, welcome back to Next Level JJ. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. So yes, today we are again taking things to the next level, and this time it's to drop some bombs. So if you've been following my stream so far, as you know, I've been ticking off step by step the things that we need to achieve to do an end-to-end mission with an F14 Tomcat in DCS Digital Combat Simulator. And so yes, as the title suggests, Bombcat is the way. Now, and I'm not going to read this entire article again, it's linked in the description, don't be shy, but ooh, a Tai Chi program. Whoa, we are looking for men. All right. Well, I have exercise, so I definitely don't look like that dude. But can I close this now? So the F-14 Tomcat was primarily designed to defend the U.S. Navy's fleet from airborne threats, so air-to-air, using the AWG-9 radar, which it had a fantastic radar. Even to today's standards, the Tomcat radar was fantastic, and its long-range AIM-54 Phoenix missiles, which are just brilliant against bombers carrying standoff anti-ship missiles. Later in its 36-year career, now a lot of jets do have a relatively long career, you know, F-16s, A-10s, you name it. They all have long careers, but 36 is a long, long time. Later in its 36-year career, the Tomcat evolved from a pure fighter to a strike fighter, a configuration commonly known as Bombcat. So, right, basically, CIP, as you can see there, and let me see if I zoom in just a little bit to make it a bit bigger here, continuously computed impact point. And what that means, you can see I am dive bombing. I'm pointing the jet down at what I want to drop the bomb on. And this is obviously dangerous because as you go down, you are going into a live area. There's anti-air and things like that. So it is more accurate if it's non-radar guided, but of course, or laser guided. But of course, it is bringing you into a dangerous area. Digital Combat Simulator, it's in the name. The whole point here is it is as close to or basically the same as what it would be in real life. And so if you've been following my series, you would have seen that I've been on a journey to learn, you know, let me just quickly go here. This beautiful thing, the F-14 Tomcat. I've been going through the mills and spending an accumulation of weeks learning how to just start this thing, take off from a carrier with this thing, do air-to-air refueling with it, and now obviously I did some of the landing as well, which is not easy on a carrier. It's considered one of the hardest things to do. And now I'm learning how to drop bombs, which is turning out to be harder than I expected. But that's the whole point of this channel. That's the whole point of DCS. It is hard. You enjoy the geekiness. You go through and you go, you know what? I want to understand how to manage this jet. And so you can go into guides that are very complex that explain some of this stuff. Now, that can scare people away. People can be like, whoa, that's too much sim for me. But remember, firstly, it is free on PC. But more importantly, it's kind of the thing that when you start out, you kind of get into it. You go, ooh, actually, I do want to learn how to do this because you've got that fantasy. I think that's the thing about many games is that fantasy of I could do this in real life, you know? Of course, there's some kind of times you just want to fly a jet and drop bombs and be a superhero. And that's, you know, Ace Combat is perfect for that. But here it's like, in my head, I feel confident that if you were to drop me in a cockpit of an active F-14, especially an American one, I guess the Iranian ones might have different buttons or at least different labels. But I understand the process of taking it from switched off to switched on, to getting it onto a catapult, to taking off. How it would be in real life, you know, I watched a video of a fighter pilot the other day speaking about this, and they were like, look, you do learn a lot of the functions, but the process and the nervousness of operating an actual vehicle where life is at stake, where millions and millions of dollars are at stake, that brings a different level. You know, we all know that, like, you can do something at home alone, no problem, and then when you do it in front of people where it matters, then the brain starts freaking out. And so, yes, I hope that monologue has answered some questions. Anyway, so where are we? We are at the start of this mission. Okay, excellent. So shall we get back into it?
Will be marked with red smoke. First, set master arm to on. select air-to-ground mode for the display. Set the weapon selector on the stick to off. The off position on the weapon selector in the air-to-ground mode will select ordnance mode. The armament legend should indicate that the ordnance mode is selected by the symbol ORD. The pilot cannot select the individual weapon type or settings itself, as those controls are in the Rios seat. In order to select the weapons, press A to enter the gesture menu. Since we already selected the air-to-ground mode, the gesture menu will default to the air-to-ground category. Select the weapon type. Further, you can select ripple quantity, the ripple interval, and different fuse settings. You can see your current settings on the center of the gesture menu. For now, let's use the computer pilot release mode. In the HUD, you are presented with a bomb fall line and a pipper that will travel along the line to indicate the impact point of the bomb if it was released at this time. As such, the pipper just needs to be placed on the target and press the weapon's release button on the stick, not the trigger, as with forward-firing weapons. There is a pull-up Q bracket on the bomb fall line. Should the velocity vector be placed below that bracket, you are in danger of fragmentation from your own bombs. In that case, pull up and try again. Set your wing sweep to bomb mode. This will sweep your wings aft to 55 degrees. The Tomcat is very stable during ground attacks, and the bomb fall line is very precise, even from distance, which means you can release from higher altitudes. Try starting at 20,000 feet and diving in at an angle of -15 to -30 degrees and releasing at an altitude of 10,000 feet. We are coming up on the target area.
Hey, here we go, team.
All you need to do is line up the target on the bomb fall line and wait for the pipper to be placed over the target. Press the weapon release button to drop the bombs according to your settings. If you have issues seeing the pipper, either increase your airspeed or enter a steeper dive towards the target. There are further target areas at waypoints 2 and 3 if you want to practice further on different target types. This concludes the tutorial.
Okay, so I can see the vehicle. Got the bomb line set up between 15 and 30, and we just keep flying until we see that pipper. Okay, bunkers lined up. Increasing our angle a bit. I'm not seeing the pipper yet, though we've had a problem with restarting the mission and sometimes the pipper not appearing, so that could be that this is the case now. I've activated brakes to slow us down even more. There's our pipper. Pickle, 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 pickle. Boom! Sorry for those headphone users. I know that was probably quite loud. But that's it, team. Our first successful bomb run. Okay, cool. So let's try that again. So again, disable brake. Let's climb back up to 20,000 feet and then we'll do a turnaround, shall we? Yes! I mean, it's only been almost 2 hours to get us to this point. Of course, with a decent amount of intro. But yeah, that is something so simple, but feels so good to achieve it. Okay, so let's climb out. Mission accomplished. Oh my goodness, am I a happy chappy. Again, this is all part of a journey. Again, I repeat it, we've successfully been able to cold start the Tomcat. The next thing we were able to do was successfully launch it off of an aircraft carrier. Now, while we're doing this, we're also learning about how to use the very comprehensive mission builder in DCS Digital Combat Simulator. And so I've been able to create missions so I can just practice over and over and over and over. And so next thing we had to do was air-to-air refueling. So if you go to my channel, especially on YouTube, I've uploaded videos of me learning how to do air-to-air refueling. And the funny thing is, there was actually a person who joined the stream and had a chat, and they said that they've been doing it for years and they still haven't been able to absolutely nail it. And so that's fine. You know, this is part of the journey. And so obviously the landing part was something that I've been doing, you know, even all fair, just trying to practice it, get used to it. I should have actually, I just quit out of DCS, but what I should have done is just quickly done a few landings just to have a bit of fun, but we'll do that next time. And so the next thing as part of our journey is to learn how to drop bombs. And there we go. Though it's going to take more practice, by the time tomorrow comes around, I would have forgotten half the things I learned there. And so it's about reiterating these things. And so what I'm doing now off air is I'm creating the dream mission that I've got. What's my dream mission? I want to cold start a Tomcat, launch it off a carrier, full afterburner, and basically use all the fuel. We've already got a tanker en route, and so basically get to it, refuel, then drop bombs. On the way back, you know, we're going to have some relations with MiGs, and then come in and do a beautiful landing on the aircraft carrier. Once I've done that, that is my DCS initial goal achieved. Then there's so much more to do. Flying helicopters, flying other jets. You know, I love mini jets. But for now, that is the goal. And so now we've ticked the next box. So what's next? The next is air-to-air combat. So firstly, using missiles, but then also dogfighting. And so there's a lot of technique and things to understand about that, especially. And so that'll be our next goal. But for now, we've got very far, and the next step is to then solidify the things. My goal is, once I've achieved all of these things, is to then do a stream where I do it in one go, of course. Then once I've achieved that, I'm going to create a video that explains the entire process I've gone through, because I want people like you who maybe doesn't know DCS to see what it could take you potentially to go from noob to a person who can at least say, I understand how to fly a Tomcat. And so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm very pumped that we were able to achieve our goal today. So, obviously, how can you learn more? How can you support me? How can you join our community? You know it. As easy as heading over to nextleveljj.com. You can find my socials there if you want to support me by giving me a tip or joining my Patreon. They're there. If you want to see my other socials, they're there. Importantly, if you want to see my schedule. So later today, I'll be setting up my schedule for next week. And that's important because it does show you the different types of games I play. So, you know, it's something I'll quickly pop up on screen for a second here. But, you know, here's my website, all the details about me and so forth. But in the schedule, we're obviously on today. But you can see there's DCS, there's Corsa Evo, Diablo 2, Rust. We've had High Guard. There's so many different things I do. And so depending on the game that you like, you can see when that's going to happen. But I will at some point be setting up a more firm schedule, because I do find a lot of people want to watch at certain times and they just don't get that opportunity. All right, as always, Stream Beats by Harris Heller. Just cool music as always. I greatly appreciate them. Go and check them out. They're on Spotify, and of course, you know, link should be in the description as well. But I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts are, and do you want to see me do other stuff? I'm open to you. Anyways, take care. We'll see you soon. Ciao.